All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm going to call it 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on that there East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter today, and this is Chatter with Statter. It looks like we've got folks coming on in, which kind of makes sense because I am 6 minutes behind time, but I've got some good excuses for that. First off, I was grabbing something at the very last minute that caught my eye. And then when I was grabbing something at the very last minute that caught my eye, I noticed something on my OBS that made me go, wait, you mean I can just, I wonder how that works. And so we're going to have a semi-black hat session today. I'm testing something out, something new out that may or may not work, that I just literally, like 2 minutes ago, found on my technologicalese. It said, hey, you want to do it this way? And I was just like, maybe. So we're going to try something. All right. I'll let you know when we're trying it. We will know. We will know. But in the meantime, I would like to say aloha to Mr. and Mrs. Aloha Friday. I feel as though you all might have been the first ones in the house today. All right, we've got E.T. Guerrero also coming in on both those folks on the YouTube side. Mama Sean also on the YouTube side. YouTube side coming in hot today. E-Music saying aloha, and Terry in Scotland rating with a party of 3. Terry in Scotland, of course, leading that train. I don't know who else is on Terry's, raid train, but I'm going to guess that Katie Zora might be there. I'm pretty sure Pinnell will not be because Pinnell is a no electronics Sunday person. And if I remember correctly, today is Sunday. It looks like we've got Shock here, late, but here. Not that late, not that late. I'm telling you, I was already late. Michi Mama coming in with Terry. Fantastic. All right, so everybody's finally not finally. I finally opened the door so y'all could come wandering in. So what we're going to do while folks are wandering in is we're going to get the party started. You bring the heat, Trail Dust. You bring the heat. That's right. You show up when things are hot. Hello, Trail Dust 55. I don't know how things are in your neck of the woods, but here in Seattle, we have record-breaking heat right now, even though, okay, so our record-breaking heat isn't really that noteworthy. I think it's like 88 degrees right now. It might hit 90. It is late August, and yeah, that's our, yeah, because we be hot like that. Yeah, doesn't matter though. It is, let's just say 90 degrees out, and I am beautifully cool inside, 70 degrees in my house, loving it. And Terry in Scotland, I am also loving right now because he just gave the channel 1,000 biddies. Awesome. Thank you so much, Terry. All right, so, how are things in your guys' neck of the woods? Darlene, I think I remember you saying maybe just last night, that it's cooling off a little bit in your neck of the woods. Trail Dust, 62 degrees on your back deck. My friend, I would actually trade my 70 degrees for your 62. Not gonna lie. But I know that you are in a super hot profession and neck of the woods, so I will happily give you that 62 degrees because you deserve that cool off. Mama Sean laughing, that's our overnight temps. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, our our record-breaking heat is somewhat laughable for most of the country, which is fine with me. Fine with me. 56, that sounds beautiful, Terry. 58, E-Music, I am loving it. Right now, I am loving my 70s inside, but outside, let's just see what my phone says outside is right now. Outside, they say, is 88, and 88 is just not where I want to be. And let's see here, we only got up to 70 today as a high. Nice, cooler day, but sunny skies. Yeah, I know that for a lot of people, 70 is just chilly, 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 but after a hot spell, sometimes 70 is just wonderful. And Michi Mama, I'm watering plants on the lanai, and it's breezy, so I'm happy. Exactly. Breezy is the key. I noticed that breezy was the key just a few weeks ago. Just last week, I think it was, when we had this weather system that was coming in, and it was supposed to cool down So it was hot and then and dry, and then this rain system was supposed to come in, and the rain, well, we won't even talk about the news. The news blew up this rain system. Atmospheric river. Yeah, it barely rained. Anyway, as it was coming in, the temperatures definitely dropped. But as the clouds came in, the wind kind of stopped. And so suddenly the temperature dropped, the humidity rose, and the breeze absolutely stopped. And so even though it was like 65 degrees out, which is perfectly fine, I was just like wanting to peel my clothes off because it just was so 65 degrees at 93% humidity is too much for me. I had to turn on my fan just to move the air and so I could go to sleep. 65 degrees in my house. In my house, it was 65 degrees and it was still too hot for me to sleep because there was no breeze. Breeze is important. And exactly, Mama Sean, that is why swimming in Seattle is an indoor sport. Yes, precisely. That is why we have a lot of musicians coming out of Seattle. Why? Because they don't have a lot of athletes coming out of Seattle. Because the musicians just stay inside and play their music because it's too rainy to play outside. And let's see here. Darlene, Rick and son-in-law stated only up to 65 by the cabin, but no rain, sunny skies, even did some fishing, got a nice northern pike, bluegills, and sunnies. Nice. Now, do you keep bluegills? Can you eat them? There's a pond, or apparently it's a lake. Looks like a pond to me, but there's a lake a couple blocks from my house that has bluegills in it, and I don't think I'd ever eat anything out of that lake anyway, but I did wonder, because I do see people fishing there, and Shock, we used to eat bluegills? Okay. And Terry, Mr. Silver, shampooed your hair tonight, more silver than ever. Excellent. And Terry, yes, confirming that bluegills are edible. How big are bluegills? Are they, okay, so Darlene coming in, it really depends on the size of them, but not really. They mostly just do catch and release. Okay, that's what I'm hoping that the people at the lake near my house do. Not because I'm like, you need to make sure these bluegills don't die. It's more like, ooh, I don't really know if you want to eat those bluegills in that water from there. And they're not all that big. Okay, because yeah, the fish that I see in the lake are usually like maybe about that big from nose to tail, to the end of the tail. And so they don't look very big. But then again, I'm used to like salmon-sized fish, And so, okay, yeah, hand size. Yeah, that's about as big as, all right, so I guess the bluegills in my Arbor Lake area are perfectly sized. I kind of wondered if they were smaller in that lake because that lake is so small. And I know sometimes that I know with goldfish it matters, how big your container is. They grow to the size of the container, as it were. And Shock saying, but I was small then. Okay, gotcha. And they're still considered a panfish. I actually never heard that term, and I don't exactly know what you mean, but I'm going to assume that means it's small enough to fit in a pan, and you can just fry it in a pan, as opposed to, say, salmon, which is bigger than any pan I've got. So, exactly, says Terry. Okay, but we have eaten them if they're a decent size when caught by the grandkids, for they want to eat the fish they've caught. So Grandma does the extra effort to clean them, and then we fry them up, and the kids eat them. Awesome. Well, of course, Darlene. And first off, yay, Grandma, for doing that. Because when I was a little kid and I was fishing, that is exactly what I wanted to do, is I wanted to keep the fish that I caught, and I wanted to eat the fish that I caught. But nobody ever let us do that. And I'm pretty sure it was for reasons of pollution is why we weren't allowed to eat them. The best I ever got to do was catch a flounder, and then we cooked it up and we let the cat eat it. That's the best I ever got to do. But I will say that was still very satisfying. Actually being able to cook a fish that you caught. For me as a, 10-year-old, I was much excite. Oh yes, much excite. And so I'm very happy, Darlene, that you're giving your grandkids that kind of memory. You see, my parents never took me fishing. I had a lot of friends whose parents took me fishing and the like. So my fishing experience is very hit or miss, and not just hit or miss, but sporadic. And so going home with a fish that I've caught is actually something that has never happened before in my life. And but I'm always happy when someone else brings home a fish that they caught and hands it over to me, because I do like some fishies. And yep, they get excited, and of course wouldn't be eating them if there's pollution concerns. Right, yeah, exactly. I had no... yeah, Darlene, I was 99.9% certain that the water by the cabin was way cleaner than the water near the nuclear submarine base where and the naval shipyards where I went fishing as a child. Because, nuclear submarine bases and naval shipyards are always clean, and the water around them is never full of contaminants. Ever. Except for when they are. All right, you guys. So, let's see here. I've got one thing that Kenny from the Cove wanted to do with us, but no, there aren't tunes running until now. Thank you, Shock. Kenny from the Cove came up with a section of question and answers, a sort of a who am I kind of thing, but Kenny's not here yet. So I don't know if I want to run his little segment yet. So before we, while we're waiting for, while we're waiting for Kenny to show up, how about fishing for submarines is catch and release? Oh, baby doll, you better bet. In fact, Trail Dust, I'm not so sure. I've got a pole strong enough to pull one of those submarines in. I have seen them in real life, and they're bigger than a blue whale. And let's see here. Darlene, the northern pike was huge, put up a good fight, 28 inches, but they let it go. That's a big fish with lots of teeth. Oh, okay, hold on. All right, now, okay, now, Darlene, now I got myself a little bit of problems, and I got myself a question for you. First off, is it required to release the northern pike? Because 28 inches, that sounds like a really good eating fish. Second off, pike, if I remember correctly, is an eating fish, is it not? And so, my fourth question is, why did they release it? A big, good eating fish. I mean, is it not in season? Were they required to? Because if they weren't required to, Lucy, you got some splaining. I mean, not really, but I feel like. And let's see here. One of the salesmen in Odessa caught a flounder on the Texas coast. For some reason, it decided to kick it, so it was flopping around in an alarming fashion. A spine from a fin went between his toes and gave him a serious infection. Lesson, don't kick flounders. No, I guess not. Or if you're going to, at least wear the right kind of shoes. Right? And you know what? All right, here we go. Since we just stumbled upon this topic, and I did have a plans to talk about it, let's talk about shoes. How many shoes do you guys have? Oh, wait, hold on. No, only if it's not the legal size. They didn't want to clean it as my guess, and they can have a lot of bones, but those come out easy. So wait, what is a legal size? Well, I suppose you probably don't know, Darlene, but 28 inches, is that like too big to catch? Too little to catch? I'm going to assume maybe 28 is too big to catch, and they want to keep the big ones around? Because 28 inches seems like a pretty good, I can't imagine that it was too small to catch, right? At 28 inches? I don't actually really know anything about a northern pike, other than I've heard they're edible. But But all right, I guess they have good enough excuse. That's about an average size and legal. Oh, so basically they just didn't want to clean it. They just didn't want to clean it. All right, all right, all right. Fair enough, I guess. But, let's see, all the fishing magazines growing had photos of grinning guys holding up huge muskies. What are muskies? Are muskies like a nickname for a kind of fish? Or what? Muskegon, of course. Yeah, that doesn't. All right, that clears it up. That clears it up, no problem. All right, I'll believe you. I'll believe you. Sometimes there is a legal size, larger and smaller need to be released. Yeah, that's what Pussycat was saying about. I can't remember what kind of fish it is in Florida, but like it basically has to be with it. It's like it can't be any bigger than this, but it can't be any smaller than this. In order to catch them, it's like a very tiny parameter of which ones are legal to keep. If Pussycat's lurking, I would love him to chime in right now and go, "That's a tarpon!" I don't even know if a tarpon is a fish, actually, but just saying that's maybe something Pussycat would say. If that is a fish, maybe. And right, I was getting shocked. I think they want to keep the breeders to keep breeding. Right, it totally makes sense to. I totally understand. Like after it's a certain size, you don't want to take it out because yeah, it's breeding time. They're super breeders. I think that there's a I think, and I could be wrong. I'm actually, the more I think about it, the more wrong I think I am. But I think I'm still gonna say it. And definitely look this up, but I think in lobster fishing, lobster catching, first off, you're not allowed to catch the female, or you're not allowed to keep the females. But second off, I think once a male lobster gets to be a certain size, they don't want you to catch them either, because they're considered like super breeders. But I definitely might be making that up. Okay, so muskies are huge fish like northern pike. Lots of teeth on them too. And Trailless is right. If too small, got to put back. And the same if too large. Right, yeah, that totally makes sense. You got to give them a chance to breed. And then once they breed, if they grew past that, yeah, you got to let them keep breeding. That makes total sense. And I'm going to go out on a limb and assume, though, that muskies are edible fish? Edible? Anyone? I mean, if you're grinning, right? But then again, here's my question. Are bass edible? Because it seems like a lot of people who go bass fishing throw them out. But it also seems like bass fishing is like a huge sport. So why would it get to be a huge sport if you don't get to eat them? And I don't, obviously, this was this topic of conversation I have no input or pictures for, because this was a boing offshoot of a topic, thanks to Darlene. And so I really don't know. Okay, yes, so eMusic says bass are edible. Okay, I don't think I've ever had a bass. I'm 90%. Well, okay, wait, let me rephrase that. What I'm really asking about is freshwater bass. Not like sea bass. That's a different thing. I'm talking about the kind of bass, and I think we already knew this, but just to clarify, because it just occurred to me, there's sea ones too. I'm talking about the freshwater. And then also, I guess my corollary question is big mouth versus smallmouth. What's that all about? Other than one has a big mouth and one has a small mouth, I get that. Are they both edible? Are they both popular in sports fishing, or is the big mouth more popular? I have so many questions. And, all right, so, Terry coming with facts. The muskellunge, often shortened to muskie, is a species of large freshwater predatory fish native to North America. It's the largest member of the pike family. Oh, okay, so it's a pike, basically. It's just a different kind of pike. Okay. And Darlene, guys just love catching them, the fight and the winning, and if a huge one, a lot of them have it mounted for display. Man, I just hate that. I think you should eat them if you're gonna keep them. And the name muskellunge originates from Ojibwe words meaning, from an Ojibwe word meaning great fish. I'm not even going to. And it also means bad pike, big pike, or ugly pike, depending upon the word that I didn't say. And no, I don't have a map of muskies trail dust, only because I didn't know we were going to be talking about them, okay? Because I would have absolutely gotten a map for this if I knew that this was where this was going to go. However, just so you know, spoiler alert, we don't have any maps today. No maps. And in fact, we don't really have food today, other than this little bit of food talk that we're doing right now. Darlene, it says freshwater, lake or river bass are edible. I've eaten plenty largemouth bass, delicious and not very bony. Terry in Scotland coming in. Well, Terry, I never would have guessed that one of the bass has a big mouth and the other one has a small mouth. I'm guessing it's the largemouth bass that has the tinier mouth. Yeah, there you go. And let's see here. My Uncle Ed once caught a 10-pound big mouth bass in Oklahoma, then went back the next day and caught a 12-pounder. Nice. I know, right? Trail dust, no maps. Bye. Bye. Yep, I know. I'm just, spoiler alert, no maps. Bye. Gotta get everybody's leaving now. Everybody's leaving. Yep. Well, I was so busy. Terry, yes, my powers of deduction are astounding. Exactly. All right, so, we stumbled upon this topic while we were talking about fish. Don't kick a flounder with your bare feet. And I have this question, or I have this scenario for you. I was at the bar. We were watching Family Feud. And this topic, or this question on Family Feud actually sparked a conversation, and I'm curious because we have quite a few men here, and this is really a question for you men. Although women in the audience, as it were, in the chat, you can confess because I know you're going to know the answer. If you've got a man in your life, you're going to know the answer. In fact, the men here might not even know their answer, whereas I'll bet their women will. Here's the question: how many pairs of shoes? Okay, the Family Feud question was: we asked 100 men how many pairs of shoes you have. And I don't even remember what the number one answer was. That's neither here nor there. How many pairs of shoes do you guys have? Men and women both, but in particular, though, men. I'm just curious because women have more shoes than they need. And I know that women have more shoes than they need because this is my shoes right here. All of these shoes are shoes I just found under one chair in my living room. This isn't all of my shoes. I have boxes upon boxes upon boxes of shoes in my bedroom. These are just the shoes under one chair in my living room. And they're now piled to in a junk spot because I'm going to go through and give a lot of them away and then throw some of them away as well. So my question for you guys, and we already know that I've got more than those. So you've got 2 shoes, 1 boots, 2 slippers. So I'm going to count each of I'm using shoes as a generic term. So Shock has 5, basically. 5 kinds of shoes. Darlene would say Rick says too many. So you've got Terry, 4 pairs of shoes, 1 pair of woolly slippers. Shock, I have 3 pairs of shoes, 1 boot, 1 croc knockoff, and 3 pairs of slippers, not slippas. Got it. Trail dust, shoes specifically or footwear? Footwear. Thank you. Good. Footwear is what I'm asking. Footwear. And I don't necessarily mean woolly slippers for inside the house. I mean shoes to wear outside the house. And shock, 2 pairs of my shoes are identical, but for color. And Zachary asking me, what size are you? Because E.T. says Molly has small feet. Oh, good God, lady. No, I do not. I wear a size 8 in men's, a size 10 in women's. I am so thankful that I have big, big feet. I don't have the biggest feet, but I have size 10 feet, which are on the larger size for women. And that means that most of the shoes that come in my size don't get sold, which means I have options on the clearance rack. I feel so sorry for women who wear size 7 through 8, or like 6.5 through 8.5. Women who have that size foot, their shoes get sold out so quickly that they have to rush to the flippin' shoe store in order to even get a pair of shoes. Me, on the other hand, I can just be like wandering in at the end of the season going, oh, I think I might like some sandals, even though it's October, for next year. And I'll get the $90 pair of sandals for $6 because nobody's got a size 10. And, oh, really, E-Music, size 10 is normal over here. Glad you're a size 8. Oh, well, then I'm going to have to make sure not to move to Wisconsin because I enjoy my large-footed freedom of choice. And let's see here. So going back up, we've got, let's see here, Darlene, there's summer shoes, winter shoes, then there's boots, then there's slippers, 25 to maybe 30, says Darlene. Yeah, Darlene, I'm right up there with you. I am right up there with you. And let's see here. I think, oh, come on, where did it, Trail Dust, thank you. 7 of assorted types. Okay, 7, there you go. I remember that I think it was like 5 or 6. I think 5 was the number one answer for Family Feud, but right in the 5, 6, and 7 range. Yeah, that seems to be what most men do. And let's see here. Elaine, I have 3 pairs of Skechers for better foot circulation. Oh yeah, totally, dude. Skechers are awesome. And one of those pairs of shoes, at least one of those pairs of shoes in that picture was a pair of Skechers. So let's see here. I used to buy boys size 6 Vans. Those are also hard to find. Yes, I'm sure they are. And Darlene, I'm an 8 to 8.5 depending on style, cut of the shoe. Yeah, actually, the funny thing is I'm actually a size 9.5 on one of the feet and then a size 10 on the other. And so I can wear a 9.5 if I have to, but it doesn't make my one foot happy. And let's see here. Terry in Scotland, I'd be 7 feet tall if I didn't have so much turned under as a foot. Yep, there you go. And so Shug, you also have 2 pairs of steel-toed that are identical, but 1 pair leaks. Well, then you should get rid of the other pair, says I, who never has gotten rid of a pair of shoes since I've been in my 20s. I can't tell you how many Doc Martens I have in my... I have a lot of Doc Martens. We'll just leave it at that. And exactly, Trail Dust, I'm full of weirdness. Avoiding moving to Wisconsin because of shoes. That's a new reason to me. Well, I am nothing if not weird. And I love my Skechers. How do you spell Skechers? You spell Skechers Sketcher. But I knew what you meant. And Skechers are so funny because it seems like they were designed and it's not with the T. I thought it was T. Oh well. Skechers, when they first came out, I thought that they were really more aimed towards the teenage crowd, the 18 or the 15 to 34-year-old, demographic. And but as it turns out, it seems like really it's people more in our age bracket that really dig on the Skechers, because the Skechers look youthful, but they're so comfy. And we need the extra comfort. And living in Hawaii, no need for snow or ice shoes. I have one pair of slippas. Fair enough, Elaine. I have 2 pairs of slippas and another pair in my car for emergencies. I can't, I do. I don't mean to be Imelda Marcos, because I don't wear all the shoes I have, but I really have a hard time getting rid of shoes, which is a problem because from what I understand, shoes break, and you're supposed to, you're like, my mom would not let me wear, back in the day, not really let me wear shoes longer than a year, because then she was like, they're broken, they're not good for your feet anymore. Do any of you guys know what I'm talking about here? In regards to like, oh, those shoes are too worn out to wear, your shoes are broken, you need to replace them. I don't believe in such shenanigans, but I've known more than one person whose mom insisted that happens. So do y'all know what I'm talking about? Not break in, because yeah, breaking in your shoes is important, but I'm not talking about breaking in the shoes. I'm talking about your shoes are broken. They're too old to wear. We have to get rid of them now. Like, that's something my mom actually did say to me. And Terrell does, so what kind of shoes do we wear when fishing for muskies? Well, if muskies have sharp fins, you better not wear slippas. And your husband, Lady Misty, got a pair free last Thursday, black Skechers. Sweet, dude. And yeah, he's 55. Exactly. The demographic for Skechers, as far as I'm concerned, in this modern day and age, 55 years old is exactly who wears Skechers. But I'm pretty sure 15-year-olds do not. And Mama Sean, you have 1 pair of Haflinger wool clogs for the cold days, and about 8 pairs of Birkenstocks in various unique colors, and a pair of snow boots tucked away somewhere. It's always good to have a pair of snow boots tucked away somewhere, or a pair of rubber boots tucked away somewhere. I actually just bought this last year a new pair of rubber boots because I had a really old pair of rubber boots that I thought were perfectly good. But as it turns out, rubber does actually break and it cracks. And so when I used my old pair of rubber boots to go clam digging, I might as well have been barefoot, because it just did nothing but break or seep in the water. Seep in that water. And so, yeah, I don't know why I bothered. So I ended up getting a new pair. And let's see here. A broken arch, maybe? Mama Sean, good answer. I mean, I obviously don't know. But that seems like a good answer. Or would it be the arch, or would it be the instep? Which is the bottom and which is the top of your shoe? I always get them confused. Anyway, let's see here. Darlene saying that she will ask Rick about the shoe situation. And if he's in a boat, Darlene, wouldn't he be wearing a boat shoe? And let's see here. I'm a saver. My sister has shoes that she has never worn and a closet full of shoes, some so old. Yeah, and I'll bet you some of them are so old that they're back in style again. Don't you know, you can totally tell that you're like super old when you're just like, oh look, I remember wearing these shoes when I was a teenager, and I can now sell them on eBay as vintage versions of what everybody's wearing now. And let's see here. Darlene, though, does wear all of her shoes. I have plenty, but with different seasons, I have different kinds of shoes. Right. McDonald's is known for its broken arches, right? No, silly kitten. It's known for its golden humps. Oh, no, wait, that's not what was... Do you guys remember... Obviously, it's known for its golden arches, but do you guys remember the movie Coming to America? And there was a McDonald's... And part of the plot line was there's a knockoff McDonald's in Queens called McDougal's. or McDowell's, and they didn't have the golden arches. They had like, what was it, the golden humps? Or I can't, but anyway. So, trying to explain the joke really makes the joke funnier. Absolutely. We all know that. Golden humps, it's what they're known for. Yeah, you love that movie. It was funny. Yeah, it is a good movie. In fact, I don't think have we shown that on the cinema? That might be a good one to show on the cinema. Here, pardon me while my face gets all bright because I'm looking on my movie thing. Coming to America. No, it does not look like. I don't think we have seen Coming to America. I might have to. Now I'm making note. Very funny. And it's pretty family safe, I think. Yeah, I don't think we've seen that movie here either, Darlene. And another movie we haven't seen here is 5 Stories of Summer, or 5 Summer Stories, or whatever the heck it's called. Well, actually, that's not true. We saw it. That's the movie we tried to watch last night, and we did. We watched it. We saw it. Unfortunately, for those of you who weren't here last night, let me rephrase that. Fortunately, for those of you who weren't here last night, you didn't have to sit through the nightmare that was a movie with some sound, sometimes, when the sound decided to show up. It was very frustrating. And E-Music, people in Hawaii tell me they never wore shoes or slippers until middle school. Yeah, I always, as a little kid, I always had my slippers, but when you went to school, you took them off. Like you were inside after all. And so, I don't know, I can only, I know that on the continental United States, they do not appreciate you going without shoes in the school. I got in trouble on more than one occasion wandering around the school barefoot for reasons of hygiene. No, Terry, I do not want Trading Places, but thank you for the other one. That I definitely, that'd be awesome. But no, I definitely don't want Trading Places. But I have to ask people who went to school in Hawaii beyond kindergarten, because that's all I did. Were you required to take off your shoes when you went to school? I guess is what I'm trying to ask. Because where I went to school, you were, and I'm sure, but I was also still a small kid, and it might not have been. The schools that I went to were a little dippy-ish, except for the very last one. That one was a public school, but all the other ones were sort of, they were hippie, so they didn't really expect you to have shoes anyway. And so let's hear. I do go barefoot at times up north, in the backyard. Yes, barefoot in Hawaii, especially when we stayed on the beach. And do I have Blues Brothers? No, and I don't want it. Thank you, Terry, but no, I don't want that either. E-Music, the rules changed a while back in the 1990s. Oh, okay, so they probably, for hygiene reasons, needed to start wearing shoes. I was so annoyed by my vice principal pulling him into his office. It was after school. I said, I want Coming to America, kitten. Terry, what do I want? Coming to America. That's all I want right now. Coming to America. And nowadays, footwear are required, especially shoes like rubber soles. And why don't I want the Blues Brother movie? E-Music, I'm so tired of that movie. That movie is just, if you guys want it, if you guys want to watch Blues Brothers, we can. You can grab it, Terry, if you want. I feel the same way about Blues Brothers not really the same way, but Blues Brothers to me is as tiresome as a lot of, who was the guy who did Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein? Mel Brooks. I don't like Mel Brooks movies. I don't like them at all. They're tiresome, old shtick. And original Blues Brothers, it's not my thing. I don't, But we can watch it. At eMusic, I didn't know that there was another iteration of Blues Brothers. I'm talking about the original one. And most footwear, shoes, not slippers, but some cannot afford shoes. Hold up, dude. Wait. Okay, hold up. Okay, wait. Hold up, Elaine. And I'm not yelling at you for this, but I am yelling about this. Are you telling me that flip-flops, rubber slippers, you're not allowed to wear them in school in Hawaii? Those aren't even considered shoes? Because no, that's not even in my school you could wear flip-flops. That's what we call them on continental United States. You had to wear shoes, but they still were okay with the slippers. What? So that makes me angry because yeah, some people can't afford shoes, and at least slippers are vaguely affordable. Okay, your friend Tommy taught Blues Brothers 2000. Oh, that's right. And yeah, dress codes have changed a lot since you graduated in the early 70s. I'm not at all surprised. And yeah, and I think the continental United States everywhere calls them flip-flops. But yeah. And some schools require shoes because of safety reasons. So they need to be closed-toed or something, or back in the 60s and earlier, shoes were too expensive. Yeah, fair enough, because they were not mass-produced and super cheap the way they are now. And at the grandkids' school, no flip-flops allowed. Wow, okay, interesting. Well, as Jacques is pointing out, we are 2 minutes, actually my clock now says 3 minutes past the musical interlude. Close. Instead of open-toed, it's closed, not clothed. Silly kitten. But we are a few minutes past our Lono listening break, and as many of you know, I do try to choose a Lono listening break that has vaguely something to do with at least one of the topics that we are discussing. And today, well, we've got reggae rock, No Mo Slipper by Marty Dread. So here we go, you guys. Let's listen to some Lono. Boop. Let's go.
When it comes to really rocking, shake it down and get people talking. No other music can make us do crazy things reggae makes us do. Three-part harmony and words of prophecy. Everybody rocking in a jam round. Reggae music, love is around. Reggae rock in Maui style. This is reggae rock in Maui style. This is reggae rock in Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. People romancing, some people dancing. Me and my lady will be reggae rocking. The dance floor is booming. See crowd of people just rocking. Everybody come and have some fun. Throw away the gun, come dance in the sun. Reggae rock, Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. Sweet reggae music drive people crazy. Even the shy brother, he's dancing, he's not lazy. The drum and the bass line make people feel fine. Watching the people fall in love with sweet reggae music from heaven above. Reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. Oh. Slipper, say me no more slipper. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Boom shakalaka. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Come again. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Me say me borrow from my sister $79. Me go to Lounge Drugs and me wait in line. Me buy one rubber slipper, then me put it on. Dirty trader in a dance and all the dance will have to rock. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. No more slipper, say me no more slipper. Boom shakalaka. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Come again. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Me no more slipper, but me still have fun. Marty Dread in the dancing, no my lyrics can't done. And if me step a glass, you know me bloody talk go run. Watch me on the mic, you know the wicked all go run. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Boom shakalaka. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Come again. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Say me no more slipper, say me no more shoes. Radical, ragamuffin, roughneck, only loose. Walking barefoot is what Marty Dread choose. No Flojos, no Nikes, no army boots. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Come again. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Me no more slipper, say me no more slipper. Hey, reggae rock, Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. Me say me borrow from my sister $79. Me go to Lounge Drugs and me wait in line. Me buy a rubber slipper, then me put it on. Watch the trader in a dancing, all like dance will have to run. No more slipper, but me still I have fun. Marty Dread in a dancing, all my lyrics can't done. And if me step a glass, you know me bloody talk go run. Watch me on the mic, you know the wicked all go run. So no more slippers, so me no more shoes. Radical, ragamuffin, roughneck, only loose. Walking barefoot is what Marty Dread choose. No Flojos, no Nikes, no army boots. No more slippers, say me no more slipper. Me no more slippers, say me no more slipper. Me no more slippers, say me no more slipper. Come again. Me no more slippers, say me no more slipper. Hey, reggae rock, Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. Bring it up. Reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. Reggae rock, Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. This is reggae rock in a Maui style. Reggae rockin', Maui styling. Marty Dread.
All right, there we go. Andre in the house. Good to see you tonight. We're in the middle of absolute excitement. We're talking about shoes. And Trail Dust, I hear you. Fashion and style. What the hell are those words? Honestly, I feel you, man. I'm telling you. I am I'm function over form any day of the week. When it comes to shoes, they better be comfortable. If they're not on my feet. I don't care how awesome they look with the outfit. I don't care how popular they are. I don't care. That's why I enjoy the Skechers, because they're comfy on my feet. I have some, what are they? The Hoka tennis shoes. I have some Hoka tennis shoes that are bright peach in color, so if I wear them at night, people can maybe see me, because otherwise I'm all in black. And then I also have a pair of Hoka flip-flops, and those are the most comfortable flip-flops I have ever worn in my life. I also have a pair of Olukai, I think, flip-flops, and they're definitely not that comfortable, but they are really pretty, and so I do enjoy wearing them. And Skechers are too narrow. Oh, that's a bummer, Shock. Yeah, having wide feet is a bit of a shoe kerfuffle. My sister has the wider foot. She got that from my dad. Luckily, my feet I got from my mom, and it's okay. She's dead. She's not missing them. I just chopped them off, and now I've got them. But kidding. Growing up, I've always been a hard person to buy clothes for, because as a chubby girl, they didn't really have plus sizes for kids' clothes back in the 70s and 80s, you know? Kind of had to just like work with what you got. So ordering clothes and stuff was always an issue, always hard and difficult, just ordering them to know if they'd fit. But thankfully, my feet are like classic. I can pretty much order a size 10 average width and my feet will be fine in them. And I really, 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 really appreciate being able to just order something off the rack without having to worry about whether or not it's going to fit. I am the stereotype. My feet are stereotypical. And Elaine saying, I have Skechers wide, cannot do narrow. So, I don't know, Shock, maybe you need to go just find, maybe Skechers has different styles that come in wide and or narrow. Let's see if we can get Shock some Skechers, huh? And Andre's coming in, the special line of wide shoes in the Skechers, at least for men. Well, all right, now I feel as though we feel obliged to go shopping for Shock to see if we can find her some fancy Skechers shoes. Not really sure Skechers has fancy shoes, so that might be a little bit of a tall order, but I think you know what I meant. Okay, guys. So I don't know if Terry in Scotland's going to show up. That's not true. I do know if Terry in Scotland's going to show up. I don't know if Kenny from the Cove is going to show up today. But I know, right, Chuck? Me? Fancy shoes? Yeah. We're going to get them bedazzled. They're going to have glitter, and they're going to have sparkles, and they're going to be pink. And they're going to have feathers. And let's see what else. I'm sorry. I'm just giggling. I'm just giggling thinking of Shock walking around in pink, feathered, sparkly, bedazzled shoes. You know, I crack myself up, man. My audience, I know my audience. Is she saying something? Audio problem. I am saying something. Can you not hear me talking about your pink shoes with feathers? Yes, I did get Kenny's trivia questions, and that's why I wanted to wait until Kenny was here so I could ask them. I mean, obviously, Kenny already knows the answers, so I suppose he doesn't need to be here for it, but I did get them. I got them right here. All of the questions. Actually, I can even show you the questions because the questions don't have answers on them. See, look, these are all of the questions that Kenny gave to us and the like, but he's not here, so I'm going to wait just a couple seconds more minutes. Yeah, quote me on that one. I'm going to wait just a couple more seconds, more minutes. And while we're doing that, questions on what topic? The topic is, who am I? But before we get to the questions, because we can do that, I want to just run this test to see if I can do what OBS says I can do. So let's just, for a minute, sit back and, what is this? Do not adjust your sets. This is a testing of the emergency broadcasting system. Do not adjust your sets. This is a test of the emergency broadcasting system. There is no emergency. This is just a test. Okay, the test failed. Okay, I cannot do what OBS said I could do. Perfect. See, thank you, you guys. That was just a test. Do not adjust your sets. That didn't work. What I was hoping would happen did not happen. So, all right, now we can go back to what we were hoping would happen, which is the question, who am I? So, here we go. Who am I? Who am I? Question number 1. Oh, what was supposed to happen? What was supposed to happen was I had a link to my friend Jesse Dayton's song called The Dope Smokin' Song. And I was going to play a bit of the Dope Smokin' Song off of the link that I imported, but it didn't link. So what it was going to be is Jesse Dayton singing about some that say Willie got high on the White House roof and an old Merle Haggard liked to smoke some hooch. And there's a tale or two telling on old Jerry Lee. And I could sing more of it. In fact, I could sing the whole song off the top of my head, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do instead is ask, who am I? Question number 1, who am I? I'm an American actor and EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony winner. I was born in Arkabutla, Mississippi. From there, my family moved to Dublin, Michigan. As a youngster, I was a stutterer. I went on to become a well-known actor on Broadway and in Hollywood. In Dr. Strangelove, I played the First Lieutenant Lothar Zog, bombardier on a B-52. In The Hunt for Red October, I played Admiral Greer. Arguably the most recognized piece of my work is some voice work I did in the Star Wars franchise, where I was the voice of the Sith Lord Darth Vader. Who am I? And oddly enough, Andre, I actually knew most of these answers. What do you mean that's not trivia? It's who am I? And there we go. That's right. It is James Earl Jones. That is exactly who that was. James Earl Jones. You got it. See, look, not everybody did know that, Chuck. I know it seemed obvious. And the one that I thought was super obvious, I'll be willing to bet that most people won't know. So everybody's got their own different thing going on. And so, boom, who am I? Who am I? I've acted with some notable Hollywood actors. In Dances with Wolves, I acted alongside Kevin Costner, where I played a Lakota medicine man named Kicking Bird. I acted with Tom Hanks, where I played death row inmate Arian Bitterbuck in The Green Mile. On the Canadian comedy series The Red Green Show, I portrayed Edgar K.B. Montrose. In Reservation Dogs, I played the character Maximus. My nationality is Oneida First Nation Canadian. Who am I? I knew this one. I knew this one off top of my head. George Green. You're close, Elaine. I know the face, but not the name, says Andre. Yeah, that's me all the time. Graham Greene. Terry in Scotland got it. That is exactly it. It is the one and the only Graham Greene. Graham Greene also was in Powwow Highway, which, if you guys remember correctly, was the movie that got me removed from from Twitch the first time. Yeah. So, okay. Next question. Early in my acting career, I was a regular on the children's TV show The Electric Company in the 1970s. I acted alongside Brad Pitt in the movie Seven, where I played a detective tracking a serial murderer. I acted with Tim Robbins in The Shawshank Redemption, where I played inmate Ellis Boyd Red Redding. In 2023, I narrated the documentary Life on Our Planet. Who am I? Oops, wrong one. You're right, Morgan Freeman. And let's see here. I know, Andre, brown butts totally got me in trouble, but it was not Graham Greene's butt that got me in trouble. It was that other guy whose name escapes my Yes, and Morgan Freeman has also played God. That is very, very true. So let's see here. All right, this next one, you guys, I think this next one will probably stump y'all, but I knew who it was. Not only was I the lead singer for the all-black, actually, not only am I the lead singer for the all-black hard rock band Living Colour, I also played with Charlie Sheen in Oliver Stone's film Platoon, where I played a U.S. Army infantryman in Vietnam named Francis. Who am I? This one's probably gonna stump you. Unless you're a rocker like I am. In which case I knew it off the top of my head. Anyone? Here, how about this? Will this give you a better clue, maybe? Let's look. Terry, did you look that up? Andre, see, I had a feeling, Andre, you might know this one, and you're very close. It's not Cory Booker. It is Corey Glover. Corey Glover is the guy's name. That was what he looked like in Platoon, obviously. Yeah, I know you looked that one up. I know you. I knew that. There's no way in heck I knew you looked that up. But Andre, see, you were really darn close. This is how he looked in Platoon. This is how Andre and I know of him. This is him as the lead singer for In Living Colour, and this is how Andre and I envision when you say, "Who am I?" Living Colour, dude. It's like this is what we envision in our brain. At least, Andre, I don't mean to be speaking for you like this, but I believe my words are not appropriate. Right, I knew the face, but I never connected with the movie. Yeah, I didn't know that. I had no until Kenny told me these questions, sent these questions over. I didn't know that he was in Platoon. I had no idea that he was in Platoon. So, let's see here. All right, so okay, so these we've only got two more, and to me, I feel like everyone should know this one. But if you don't, that's cool, because I am not somebody who knows Hollywood actors at all, so, like, yeah. But I think everyone should know this one. I was arguably the coolest Jedi on the Jedi Council, yet my character, Mace Windu, was killed by Emperor Palpatine. George Lucas even went as far as creating a special purple lightsaber for my Star Wars character. I played Jules Winfield in the Quentin Tarantino film Pulp Fiction. These days, you're most likely to hear me on TV asking the question, "What's in your wallet?" And exactly, it is Samuel L. Jackson. That is exactly it. So far, I'm not knowledgeable with any of these. Really, Darlene? And Andre's bragging, I could remember his name. Yeah, because I'll tell you what, dude, most of these questions, I was like, oh, I can see the face. And it took me a really long time to finally get the name. Graham Greene and Corey Glover, I knew those names right off the top of my head. And the Samuel L. Jackson, actually, I knew that off the top of my head. But this one was... I had to look it up eventually. This one, not Samuel L. Jackson, but this last one, I could see his face so clearly, but I had no idea. I couldn't, and now that I know who this next person is, I also am like, I never would have gotten that name. I recognize the name, but but yeah, exactly. You can remember the movie, see the face, but no names come to me. That is classic me with Hollywood as well. But oddly enough, a few of these I was very familiar with. And this one, I could see him in my head, but I could not come up with his name to save my life. So This is the last one. In the original animated Lilo and Stitch, I was the voice of Cobra Bubbles, and the character I voiced, that I voiced. Wait, hold on. Okay, I was the voice of Cobra Bubbles, and the character I voiced and I look very similar. In Pulp Fiction, I played the crime boss Marcellus Wallace. I am the bass voice in Arby's commercials explaining, "Arby's, we've got the meats." Who am I? I don't know. Cobra Bubbles? Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember. I only watched Lilo and Stitch once. I don't actually like that movie that much. There you go. Yes, Terry in Scotland. Terry in Scotland and Andre got it right. Ving Rhames. And so, what's his name again? What's his name? I don't know. Again, I know the face and the voice, no name. Yeah, he was in Pulp Fiction. He played. Yeah, that's actually the only reason why I knew who he was. Because in Pulp Fiction, I played the crime boss Marcellus Wallace. So as soon as I read that, when I got these questions, I was like, okay, I can see the face, I know the face, and I didn't know that he was the man behind Arby's, we've got the meats. I did not know that he was that guy, and so there you go. That ends our Kenny from the Cove trivia questioning of who am I. And if I was a More Together creator, I'd be like, oh my god, you guys, everybody who got something, who won this hair clip or whatever. But I don't have any. You want a hair clip? Do you want to win a hair clip? Because I can send a hair clip. I don't have any prizes for you guys. This was really just this is really just to kill time and start some conversations, because I don't have. If I was thinking, I would have had, look, win this pencil. But yes, exactly. Thank you, Kenny from the Cove, for these questions. Not even a PBR? Well, I don't think I'm allowed to send PBRs through the mail. If you want an empty PBR can or an empty PBR box, I can accommodate that. But I don't think I'm allowed to send PBR through the mail. However, just because I'm not allowed to send it doesn't mean I wouldn't. But I don't really want a beer can to explode via pressure changes and the like. And let's see here. The easiest one he ever did, I knew the subject, not just the name. Usually they go right over my head. And indeed, Andre, normally normally when he sends me these things, I'm like, nobody's going to know these things, Kenny. No. And then, but I'm like, fine, I'll do it. And then everybody knows them except for me and you. So Kenny is a little bit more in touch, I guess, with what most people should know. And I did, Terry, send you a PBR box. It was stuffed with Ritz crackers and Cheese Whiz. Well, I'm glad to know that we're all ignorant about some topics that really don't matter, right? I mean, I'm sure we're all equally ignorant about some topics that do matter, but at least we're ignorant on something that doesn't matter. And that PBR box is on your mantelpiece now. Hey, it's a slice of America. It is a slice of America. All right, let's see here. Andre, no, I think that a lot of his questions, I really do think that if we posed those questions to an average person on the street, a lot of people would know the answer, because so many people are into Hollywood and movies and actors. It just seems like something, people like watch TV and stuff. It's just something I don't really do. And trailed us, exactly, bringing it full circle. How many shoes do you suppose these actors have? I'll bet you more than all of us combined. Each of them. I'll bet they have a whole closet that's just for their shoes. In fact, part of the reason why I don't have more shoes is because I don't have a place to store my shoes, which is why they're in boxes and under chairs. But the problem is when they're in boxes and under chairs, you forget you have them. And so then you go online and you buy a pair that's almost identical to 3 other pairs that you forgot you had. And Terry, if I could have a walk-in closet, I would have it full of shoes. I would love a walk-in closet. I'm starting of thinking of treating my bedroom as a walk-in closet and moving my bed out to my living room and just have my bedroom as the closet. Because I only have one closet in my house, and it's my clothes closet in my bedroom. So, like, the vacuum, it has no place to live. The broom, it has no place to live. Like, the coats, they really don't have any place to live. I just have one clothes closet. It's so tiny. It's so tiny. Alrighty, so let's see here. What else was I going to share with you today? Oh, yes, indeedly do. This is one of the reasons why we were a little bit late today. I caught this news clip at the very last second. Some of you might have already seen it, but I just wanted to show it to you for, well, a couple of reasons. One of which we talked about what caused this a couple weeks ago. And now there's a result of this and blah, blah, blah. But hold on. Andre, I got lots of shoes, but I don't like them. And I give them away to family with my size 13 fit one family member. The other guy got a size 14 wide, so can't give them to them. Right. Yeah, that totally sucks, dude. And oh, Andre, thank you so much for gifting all those subs. Yeah, it sucks for the size 14 guy. I have a friend who's got a size 16 foot. So, like, hand-me-down shoes are nothing. They're non-existent to size 16 foot man, because nobody can give them. It's like, sorry, dude. I don't have a size 16 foot. And Darlene bragging about her closets. I have 4 closets. But it's counting the linen and the towel closet. I have 4 closets. But none are walk-in. And Terry, the whale rescue clip I posted on Facebook would be good to see. Darlene liked it. I didn't see that rail rescue. Yeah, I don't have that clip, so I can't just show that. It'd be a whole rigmarole to get it on. I don't have that. But exactly, Trail Dust, it's a homeless vacuum. My vacuum is in my bedroom, draped with a piece of cloth so I don't have to look at it. And Andre, thank you for the 600 biddies. There you go. But what I do have is I have this clip, and this clip is the finishing of the story that started a couple weeks ago during crazy breaks. And thank you for giving Baby Bo a subscription there, Andre. All right, so let's listen to what KHON has to say about that boat that crashed into everything. Boop.
In other news, new video shows a scar left behind on the reef at Kewalo Basin after a grounded vessel was removed earlier this week. Officials are still sizing up how much damage was caused. Nikki Schenfeld follows up.
Tonight, new drone footage shows a scar along the reef from where a 75-foot boat ran aground at Kewalos and was tugged out on Tuesday.
It probably had to come from the vessel, whether it came from when they towed it out or when the boat came into, the resting place on the rocks.
It was 2 weeks ago the boat pushed toward shore and sat for 10 days until it was removed. During that time, state officials did initial assessments and found minimal coral and reef damage. Division of Aquatic Resource staff said it documented large coral colonies and found removal routes that would cause the least amount of damage.
The initial assessment looked fairly well. The damage assessment for after extraction, it did hit some coral colonies. Most of it is overall live rock damage, and live rock is basically the kind of like fluffy like rocks that you see underwater that have like limu and like stuff growing on them. That's what we classify as live rock.
Even though they call it minimal, but it's still impactful for this place. Me as a surfer, I wanted to know how it will impact the wave, how it breaks. So far, it's been good, and the wave seems to break the same way.
DAR says it doesn't have full numbers yet on how many colonies were impacted during the extraction. Videos seemingly show that the boat was coming into the channel within those 2 markers, but other videos show that the captain could have been maneuvering around a surfer who could have been pushed in by the currents. The cause of the incident remains under investigation.
Yeah, we're good to not only find out what happened, but share the experience so it doesn't happen again. It's like we could learn lessons, valuable lessons here.
The Atlantis won't comment on the captain, but said in a statement its boat was successfully towed and is out of the water at Ke'ehi Marine Center, undergoing inspection. The boat is in good condition overall, but there is no date yet on when repairs will be completed, and the vessel will return to service. DAR says it will process its report, calculate a fine, and give it to the land board, who will then approve or deny fines against the company. Nikki Schoenfeld, KHON2 News, working for Hawaii.
In other news, new video shows a scar left behind.
All right, so we've got ourselves some reverb. Boop, boop. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, so looks like there's a bit of a scar. Looks like the break isn't breaking any different, so this is good. That scar looked pretty major. It definitely looked like some coral got knocked over and maybe killed. I don't really know. I don't actually know enough about coral to say this, but I do know, well, all right. So many things going through my mind. It's obviously not good to break up the coral, but I do wonder if this, if breaking it up, like if the pieces that broke off will maybe like reroute someplace else. And I know that sometimes with plants, and I know coral's not a plant, I get it, but I know sometimes with plants, like if you trim it, it grows back healthier. Maybe coral, maybe with this we'll accidentally find out that happens with coral too. Yeah, I know that's not the way it's gonna happen, but I'm just trying to look at the bright side. One thing I can say, though, is if indeed that scar was done mostly on what's known as live rock, which is basically just rocks with seaweed and stuff on them, honestly, that's, to me, that's no big deal. The seaweed will regrow. I promise you. The algae, the seaweed, it will all regrow. The reef, on the other hand, that is the stickier wicket. This is... unfortunately, this is a horrible thing that happened, but at the same time, much like the explosion with Mount St. Helens, that reef has now become a classroom. Yeah, eMusic, they said that some of the coral was messed up. You could see in the video that some of the coral was messed up. It's just that one guy was saying that it looks to be mostly live rock that was harmed. Which, Andre, I agree, live rock sounds totally odd unless you're talking about lava, totally. So if it is indeed just and mostly live rock, frankly, I'm not that concerned about it. Seaweed grows back. The coral is the issue for sure. But we now, like it or not, have a living classroom as to see how this will repair itself. If it will not repair itself, how we will then have to perhaps take measures to help it repair itself. And Terry and Scotland, I looked up coral reproduction. That most of them are asexual. They may just relocate. Right, that's what I'm thinking is like, so the pieces that are broken off, maybe they'll reestablish. So, there's a piece that's there, or here's a coral. Part of the coral got broken off. The coral that's still there is still there, but the part that got broken off, maybe it will reestablish itself and grow a new coral. In which case, that's actually kind of cool because now you've doubled your coral. I am not suggesting that this is a reasonable way to think. I'm wondering, okay? I'm wondering if maybe this is what we're going to find out. Because like I said, we've now got a living classroom to see how it fixes itself. And let's see here. For something that big going in that fast, the damage seems a lot less than it could have been. Actually, you know what, Andre, judging from the video, and they don't, obviously they don't know and they're not saying, but judging from the video and then the track of that scar, it seems clear that the scar was made when it was being towed out. It looked absolutely like it was, that scar was right on the same path that it got towed out. And it did not come in the way it got towed out. So to me, it seems, from the video that I just showed, I have not obviously seen it in real life. It seems pretty clear that that was the damage that was done when it got towed out. But I obviously don't know. And then let's see here. Darlene, Michi Mama, Rick and I were considering going on that, but I wasn't a fan of being in a can with a bunch of people's under 100 feet of water. So we decided not to. I totally feel ya, Darlene. And then Shock, wasn't the damage done when the boat was pulled off more than the grounding? The news clips said that they don't know, but I think I think anybody who was paying attention to angles and things, I think it's pretty clear the damage came when it was being towed off. But they're still responsible for that ship, even if it needed to go. Even if the damage was when it was being towed off, that's still kind of their responsibility, you know? Now, that being said, the video that they showed, and they even acknowledged this, it showed the captain, doing what he was supposed to do, which is going between those two buoys to enter the harbor. And then it looked like it took a hard turn because it looked like there was something else in the water. And they hypothesized that he turned to avoid a surfer. Now, if that's the case, while I agree the company needs to be held responsible financially, I said this last time we talked about this, I really feel like all of the circumstances need to be taken into consideration when establishing the amount of damage, because I really don't think that this captain was egregiously going somewhere he wasn't supposed to. And if he was trying to maneuver the boat in order to save a human life, that to me is a pretty good excuse. I mean, not an excuse, but that's a pretty good, that's a context that needs to be taken into consideration, right? And eMusic, the boat captain was avoiding a surfer. That's an old problem in that area. Exactly, yeah. And so I feel like the captain, that's a context that needs to be acknowledged. And frankly, and I understand that this is impossible, but that surfer that he was trying to avoid, like, he's kind of complicit in this reef damage as well. Why was that surfer there? That's not cool, dude. You're right in the way where the boats are supposed to be coming through. The boats have a really narrow entrance. You're not supposed to be in it. Why are you there? And I know that they're probably never going to be able to identify the surfer, so holding that person accountable isn't a possibility. And also, as the news said, the surfer, because it was high surf, could have been swept into that area. So not really the surfer's fault for being there. So many moving parts in this, and I absolutely agree that the company needs to be held accountable because money needs to come from somebody to help repair this damage, however the damage gets repaired. But there are so many factors and moving parts. I'm really curious how things are going to be judged once all of the evidence is in, because if that surfer was in the way and they were indeed trying to move out of the way of the surfer, that does... I mean, I don't know. What is the rule of thumb? I know that as a kayaker, the smaller craft always has to yield to the larger craft. And so if a big old ferry boat doesn't stop for me as a kayaker who's in front of it and I get run over by the ferry boat, maritime law, dude, that's kind of okay. I have to wonder if that boat had run over that surfer. Maritime law, man, that's kind of okay. That surfer shouldn't have been there. Or I wonder if there's a real big rule. No run over the surfers. You get big trouble, yeah? I mean, I don't know, because is a surfboarder and a surfer, is a surfboard with a surfer on it considered a craft? Because I know the rule of the road on the waterways is the smaller craft always has to yield to the larger craft. Period. End of story. And there's a boatload of physics behind why this is. And exactly, E-Music, I wonder what happened when what they did. But has it ever happened so badly that the boat came in recklessly like that? I mean, because it was so, like I said, so many factors. There was the South Shore swell that was coming in that was record breaking. There was a surfer in the way. There's a lot of moving parts, literally. So I just have to wonder. I'm very curious how this is going to evolve. And Terry in Scotland coming in with a surfer on a surfboard is not a craft itself, but the act of surfing and the creation of the surfboard are deeply rooted in the concept of craft. Well, right. The surfboard is considered a craft, and the functional art form is considered a craft. Well, yeah, but that's not the definition of craft I'm looking for. Shock, when two piloted craft collide, both captains are at fault. I wouldn't count a kayak or another single passenger craft. Yes, it's happened before. It was up to the legislature. Okay. Yeah, so this is an interesting situation that watercraft. Yeah, vessel works. Watercraft is what I've always been told when I've gone out in the Sound. It's just the smaller vehicle gots to get out of the way of the bigger one. Because chances are it's a lot easier to move and maneuver and stop and reverse the smaller craft than it is the oil tanker and or ferry boat, etc., etc. Like I said, there's lots of physics behind the reason of the smaller one is the one who's got to make sure to stay out the way. All right, you guys, so we are 3 minutes past the bottom of this there hour, which means that we need to shut the flying fork up. And they're lucky the captain could bring the boat in without it getting sunk. Yeah, I feel like that captain did a wonderful job. I realized that things got messed up, but given the circumstance that captain found himself in, the videos that I've seen, dude, the boat could have capsized. The boat was on the verge of capsizing. The boat could have almost turned it over. He didn't. He deserves a round of applause. All right, you guys, you also deserve a round of applause for hanging out for this hour and a half talking about shoes. Who knew? Who knew we could talk about shoes for so long? But I knew we could talk about shoes for so long. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. We will hopefully see each other Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. West Coast time wait, is it 6:30? Is it 6? Well, hopefully we'll see each other at Andy Boomatai's Daily Pigeon. And if we don't, 5 p.m. West Coast time, Wednesday, we'll have another Chatter with Statter. And then next Saturday on Statterbox at the Cinema, we will be watching episodes 5 and 6 of Chief of War. Well, definitely 5. We don't have 6 yet, so we can't promise that. And then there we go. Shot coming in with whoever is in the lane has the right of way over anyone crossing, otherwise both captains must avoid collision. In that case, the surfer was at fault. My ignorant perspective with this little limited piece of knowledge says the surfer was at fault. So there you go. That's my ruling. The surfer was at fault. Okay, so take care. Hope you had a great weekend, and I will see you on Wednesday.